Creatures of the night. It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. We need to talk. We started off with our bruh Will Ospreay, who is responding to the comments that MJF had about him on Saturday, basically calling him talentless and that he's not able to push merch and all these things that MJF can do, especially as a champion. So at some point they'll probably end up getting rid of Will Ospreay. Who knows? Now, Ospreay obviously is not happy about any of that stuff, and he's basically pleading his case about how talented he is and how much this company needs him, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, he's like, well, MJF, bring your ass on out here since you got a lot of things to say. MJF music hits, but MJF doesn't come out. MJF is back there somewhere on some lawn chair, and he's sipping on whatever he's sipping on, and basically saying that the people of Calgary don't deserve to be anywhere near him, so he's not coming out. Long story short, MJF says that Will Ospreay ain't shit, and that whatever situation is, they're going to end up having a match next week on Dynamite. So great. I don't really necessarily see it happening. Really, the real money here is MJF versus Will Ospreay for All In pay-per-view. Who knows? There might be some type of interference, maybe even a draw, maybe MJF got COVID or something, some excuse so he can get out that whole thing for us to end up having that match at All In. I don't know what the situation is. I didn't really care about this. It's a little bit a waste of time. Now, first match comes on and I'm just like, well, they're going to start off with the ladies. But no, we start off with Hangman Adam Page versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And I was shook. I know a lot of us was shook. We was expecting for this to be the main event. And wow, I could not believe it. Now, while we do have these two guys in the ring, we do have a special guest enforcer, which is Jeff Jarrett. And if you ask me, I don't think I would have chosen him to be an enforcer because he does have something with Hangman going on right now, whatever the hell sexual tension they got going on. I didn't feel like it was fair for him to be a part of this in any way, shape, or form. Bryan Danielson holding on that neck all damn night. Really great match between the two of them. It went pretty long, especially after we had somewhat of a long promo with Will Ospreay and then MJF. With it being after that, it kind of felt like it took a majority of that hour. Now, of course, this is the finals of the Owen Hart Cup, so they're going to give us some drama. Bryan Danielson seemingly like he could not finish. He seems like he is washed up, especially with that neck. However, after the doctors, Jeff, and referees and everybody trying to keep him from continuing this match, he does get back on in there and continues. And it looks like Hangman got this in the bag. But no. Bryan Danielson goes for, I want to say, a cycle knee. And we had Hangman that somehow moved out the way and ref got hit. I cannot believe it. And I was saying this before that foolishness even happened. I said this match needs to be clean. I don't want to see no interference. I don't want to see no foolishness. The referee better not be there for a couple of minutes. I don't want to see any of that stuff. But they end up giving you exactly what you don't want. And then we have Jeff Jarrett who comes in when Adam Page had took off his belt, whooped Bryan with it and put it around his neck. And Bryan had that belt around his neck for the longest in this match. But Jeff Jarrett obviously is like, well, I'm the enforcer. I might as well just take over. He gets in the ring, take off his shirt. And I'm just like, please, no, put it back on. But then he has a referee shirt under. And I'm just like, oh, should have known. And he ends up officiating the rest of the match. Now, even though he was officiating, I do feel like it's like he was trying to be fair, but also having his feelings towards Hangman at the same time, which is why I said from the get-go he shouldn't have been there. But he does play it fair. Bryan ends up taking the win. And real talk, I was not expecting that. I think a lot of people were surprised. I think people were going over with the story between Hangman and Swerve versus Bryan, because that seemed a little bit more concrete in terms of what's going on with the champion and an enemy of his. However, Bryan, he's at his last leg of his full-time run here. And for him to at least get a shot for the title that he has not won yet, that would be cool. Do I see him winning it? I'm not entirely sure. I don't mind him winning. I know I love Bryan. But how would he be as a champion knowing that he's not 100% and I haven't seen him at 100% in a long time? Then that right there is a little bit difficult to see. So now, after this match, Hangman storms off because he's mad as fuck. Honestly, I thought he was going to beat up on Bryan, but I guess tonight was not the night. He ends up leaving. We do have Jeff Jarrett, who is escorting Dr. Martha Hart. And oh my gosh, she looks like a snack. She just looks so good. Oh my gosh, she looks great. They end up, giving Bryan the title, and they end up giving him the trophy that Bryan could not hold after a match like that. Really interesting. Swerve's don't come on out with Prince Nana right after that. And Swerve has something to say. Now, here we are. I believe maybe Tony Khan is watching my reviews because I've been saying this for like a month or so now. Blood and Guts is coming up. The Young Bucks did ask Swerve to be part of their team. Swerve laughed in those bitches' faces and said, hell no. And long story short, here we have Swerve saying that, yes, he's going to be part of Team AEW. And I'm just like, this is exactly what I said should happen. It's happening. Everyone hold on to your panties. And honestly, I really do feel like Swerve as champion, he should have been the first motherfucker to be part of Team AEW. But I guess it doesn't really matter who's first, who's last. He's in it. And also he ends up calling out Okada so that they can have a match next week on Dynamite, champion versus champion, bitch. And yeah, I hope he loses. Up next, The Acclaim has some whack-ass music video. Nobody cares. After this, we do have Chris Jericho versus Samoa Joe in a Stampede street fight. Like I said the other day, Samoa Joe wasn't going to have any of his buddies to help. Obviously, Shibata's arm is messed up, and then we have Hook, who's admitted at some hospital somewhere in New York. So there's just no way that he was going to get involved. The match is okay at first. Yeah, guess what? We had a chair. Jericho had a bag full of horseshoes in it. And honestly, I thought it was going to be thumbtacks or something effective, but like 6 little horseshoes and stuff like that to slam somebody back onto? That's not enough. We want to see violence. You should have had something else in that bag. They end up taking the fight into the crowd, and then they make their way towards the back. Now, because Jericho throws what's supposed to be hot coffee on our tribal chief Samoa Joe's face, and then Joe is blinded for a little bit, and then here is Big Bill seemingly to come out the bathroom or something with a chair. What the hell? He ends up getting involved, and I'm over it. I do think Brian Keith had got involved before that too. Whatever the situation is, so Brian Keith did get involved at first, and Samoa Joe ended up throwing him into the audience, and we lost him for a little bit. But then again, Brian comes out of the blue and he gets involved. So it's a 3-on-1 assault at this point. Big Bill ends up chokeslamming Samoa Joe onto a pallet that's on a forklift. And then Chris Jericho gets on the forklift and he drives it through what's supposed to be a wall. Y'all, this is what I'm saying. Tony Khan, I should cuss your motherfucking ass out. This wall, okay, was like construction paper. Like, if you go back and look at it, it was literally like construction paper. Of course, a forklift was going to go through it. Of course, Samoa Joe's going to get through it. I just could not believe it. They should have did this in a more believable way where people will actually think that what they were going through was an actual wall. If not, they could have come up with something else. But I'm just like, bro, we're not stupid. This thing is paper thin. So it doesn't look like anything had happened to Samoa Joe at all. We had doctors, security, what's his name? Even Colt Cabana, who's letting us know that he's still employed, went back over there to see what was going on with Samoa Joe. And then Chris Jericho seemed to be happy about what he did. And later on, they end up taking Joe out in a stretcher, put him in the back of an ambulance, and they end up driving away. And then we see Big Bill, Brian, and Chris Jericho. They're watching him being drove off into the sunset to the nearest hospital. And then here we have Chris Jericho, who's like, bye, Joe. Because, he always says hi. Whatever the situation is. I didn't like this. I didn't like this at all. We could have used something else. Y'all literally had Joe going through construction paper and you wanted us to believe it was a wall. I'm over it. Up next, we had a number 1 contenders match for the international title. We had Claudio Castagnoli versus Kyle Fletcher versus Ishii versus Pac. I forgot what they initially called it. They called it a global four-way, something like that. Each of these guys are representing a different country. And I was just like, oh well, all right. Don't know why they end up picking up these guys to be in it. And it's just a little. So after everything that we had already got on the show, it was feeling slightly underwhelming. The match was okay, but there was some parts where you can tell like there's definitely like a miscommunication here. And then even at some point, like the middle ending towards the match, Kyle Fletcher was only there to be pinned by everybody else, which was really interesting. I really tried to get into it, but like kind of being dumbfounded by the results from the opening match, and also with this fiasco with them putting Joe through a fucking paper. It was a little bit hard to get into. We do have Pac that ends up taking the win with a brutalizer on our boy Kyle Fletcher of all people. And yeah, so he's number one contender for the international title. Do I see him winning it? No. That match is obviously supposed to take place after next week's match with MJF and Will Ospreay. So one of those two, whoever's going to win that, we're going to end up going against Pac at some point for the title. I don't see the title changing hand. I'm happy that Pac won this, because I feel like when was the last time we've seen Pac win anything? So I mean, it's great, but honestly, the match could have been better. Whatever. Now we have Hangman Adam Page, who is coming out from wherever the hell he's coming from. Renee's trying to ask him questions about obviously being a loser. Hangman don't want to hear it. He's not listening to her as she's trying to call him. Then he goes and stop at a door and he's knocking on the door. And the door opened and Okada opens the door. And I'm just like, exactly what I thought. Exactly what I've been saying. Okada is just like, oh, can I help you? And we do have Hangman who's trying to push his way in, and he's like, bitch, can I help you? And it looked like they're about to start throwing hands or whatever. But then the young fucks, they come to the door too, and they're just like, all right, come on in. Well, long story short, he says that he wants to be part of Team Elite because now Swerve is in Team AEW. And that's all they wanted, was just to get their hands on each other. Doesn't matter if it's happening at the pay-per-view, since it's not. We'll be getting that at Blood and Guts. Didn't I say all this stuff like a month ago, you guys? And that's exactly what we're getting. I'm cool with this. Up next, we have Mercedes Moné, who is doing a celebration toast. And I'm just like, all right, we get it. You're double champion. Every week, you're going to come out and have some type of celebration instead of getting in the ring and fighting. So what's going to happen next week? We're going to have a celebration brunch or something? Like, girl, the celebration stuff is over. Get in the ring and put in that title, both of those titles, on the line. Now, she's over here talking about how she's obviously the best. And she even goes on to go and say she's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And obviously, since we're in Calgary, she got booed the fuck out by everybody. And, long story short, DMD comes out and Mercedes scatter like a fly and leaves. And she's, oh my God, Mercedes, she looks great. But damn, DMD, girl, oh my God. Amazing shape. I don't mind this. Just put these two girls in the ring doing something in the meantime. That's all we want. We want to see these girls wrestle. I don't want to see, they don't have to get into any scuffle with each other, but I do want to see Mercedes actually doing something in the ring. I want to see, Britt doing something in the ring as well. Don't know how much longer we're going to have to wait on that. But it just was all right. Now, after this though, we do have Brandon Cutler, whose face have face paint on it. He's laid out crying about somebody's hurting him or whatever the situation is. And then we see Darby Allin that was putting the hurt on Brandon Cutler. And I'm just like, oh, he's back. Now, I love me Darby Allin. However, lately he's been reckless as fuck, and the company keeps co-signing about him probably potentially being dead on one of these shows one day. Whatever the situation is, just maybe, it looks like we might get Darby Allin to be part of Team AEW. And honestly, okay, so real talk, when I'm talking about Blood and Guts, I do see Darby Allin being in a situation like that. However, you guys know Darby obviously had a lot of misfortunes this year, so kind of don't want to see him in it. And at the same token, I don't want to see people who was part of that anarchy in the arena of foolishness to also be part of Blood and Guts. We already have pretty much all the team. Well, all of Team Elite is in this match. So I just want to see Team AEW just be kind of like a new batch of guys and not the people that was involved in Anarchy in the Arena. But then again, we're talking about Darby Allin here. He's like the poster child of Blood and Guts. Now, speaking of Blood and Guts, we have our main event, the Ladies Owen Hart Cup Finals, Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. The match was okay. I knew there's going to be some drama, especially when Tony Khan paid that overtime money. There's going to be drama. Mariah comes out in pink and black, but still giving you Toni Storm. We do have Willow, who comes out in black and gold, and she had the word danger on her singlet, which was really cute. Also paying homage to Owen Hart. I don't care what anyone says. I know a lot of people say WWE should be the one paying tribute to Owen, but they're not. And somewhere else is doing it, and I think they're doing a great job. Get over it. Yeah, but Willow look great. Yeah, we do have Statlander and Stokely that get involved here. Stokely is holding on to Willow while the referee is too busy doing God knows what. And then here comes Statlander kicking her in the head. And I'm just like, man, can any of these matches be clean? And then look, I don't mind interference. I don't mind heels doing what heels do. But like at some point, like how long are we going to just keep having main events being interfered by somebody? Can we just take time and just be like, you know what? Let's hold off on that for 1 week, please. Now, after that happens, things started to go downhill for Willow Nightingale. Mariah takes the win with a roll up of all things. Jesus Christ, was not happy about that. But our girl won, so I'm cool with it. Obviously, there's a bigger picture here to, for us to see, which is Mariah versus Toni Storm. Obviously, Toni Storm is happy that her gal pal had ended up winning the match, and they're skipping all the way to the top of the stage so that they can go and celebrate. The trophy is there, the title is there. Now, we do have Mariah, who has a leg up on her, so she is a little bit ahead of Toni. Toni is trailing right behind, and then when Toni gets up there, Mariah turns around and hit this bitch with the title. Toni is leaking. Luther is just like, oh, hell no. Nah. And we know Luther is not going to put his hand on a lady. So he gets his ass whooped by Mariah with the belt. And Mariah somehow throws him onto some tables that are outside of the stage. And I'm just like, good for you, Luther. Taking the first bump in like how many months? Great. Now she turns her attention towards Toni Storm. And oh my God, this is just beautiful. She keeps hitting her with the belt. We do even have some referees that come out trying to stop her, and she ends up pushing Aubrey Edwards on the floor. And I was clapping, and I was just like, yes, we don't really like Aubrey like that. Now, she ends up taking Toni Storm's shoe, and she whacks her in the head with it, where she's bleeding several times, and it looks really harsh. I'm telling you, like, I'm probably not doing justice talking about it. Like, you have to go see this clip. I feel like this was a very strong ending. This is a very strong way to turn the tables in this storyline. I absolutely loved it. How we had MJF beating the life out of Daniel Garcia last week. And this time we finally have Mariah May, who's just putting her foot down and just be like, bitch, I just won this tournament. We ain't no friends anymore. So I totally enjoyed this. And I think anybody who's watching the show would absolutely love the way the show ended. Really strong ending. We had a lot of foolishness throughout the night. But man, I'm looking forward to All In. So far, we do have MJF. Well, wait, did they make MJF and Swerve official? Well, no, MJF and Osprey official. I'm not 100% sure because we're going to get that match next week anyway. But we do have Swerve versus Danielson, and we also have Mariah versus Toni. And man, it's looking good so far. We still have a little over a month to see what it is going to cook for this pay-per-view, and I can't wait to see it. Tony Khan, you need help with the booking still. Give me a call. I will help you. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. This, like I said, the show, it was okay, but what was really good was really good. And that ending, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what happens from here. Mariah May, you got over a month to get everyone to rally behind you. It's time to get out of the shadows of Toni Storm and be Mariah May. And I can't wait to see what happens with that. Guys, thanks for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Ring of Honor. Bye.